Okay. So, honourable members, let's hear from Danny. Okay. In the interim, the arrangements are just saying. The arrangements are saying. So we are looking at 28th, 29th, 30th of November. People meeting us at Accra. 20 cities for refreshment. People coming from home that would join our whole arrangements, 140. All other special arrangements will be looked at as time goes on. Deadline for payment is 24th, but at worst, if anything, by Monday, you should clear it up. You should clear things up so that we can start payments for the services that we need to make this journey successful. Hopefully, by Monday, the final date will arrive. Payment is to be made to the Youth Impact Movement and Merchant Line 781672. Payment should be made to that line. We are only taking payments in cash, in cash through Momo. We are only taking through Momo. We are not taking physical cash. And then we'll start compiling the list at the end of the sitting. We'll start compiling the list of attendees, both MPs that will join us in Accra and MPs that will join us from Ho to Accra and then back. So we'll sure take a picture over there because we need someone to take a picture for us to post. We'll look at, if possible, we can get a photographer. Honorable Oliver, I'm aware he takes pictures. Maybe he can help us. But at West, some of you have very big iPhones. We'll just hire and encourage one of you to be our official photographer, and then you help us with that. Yes, so honour members, since there are no other contributions, these are the arrangements for our trip to Parliament of Ghana. We'll proceed to the next item, updates on levy payments. Honour members, we don't need to cry for you to perform your own duty. You have joined this Parliament on your own volition, and the levy is 50 cedis. If you have not paid yet, please try and pay. As of now, only 67 MPs out of 143 have paid. That is less than half of the House, and it is very appalling. It is very appalling. The levy is compulsory for all MPs, and let's do what to pay. We will not cry about that again. If your conscience has not appealed to you to fulfill your own financial obligation, and we just don't know the leaders that we are grooming for tomorrow. But please, let's do well to please, with due respect, honor this call. We'll move to item 10 on the other paper. Yes, Honorable Adamu Osman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Adam Osman, Ashama constituency. The Speaker, on the levy payment, I thought you were coming to talk about the 5 CD levy per month we were paying the second Parliament. I've noted that from the inaugural sitting up to now, there's nothing that has been said about the monthly life scheme levy that was agreed in one of the sitting in the second Parliament. So I want to ask about that payment. Has it been scrapped off or is still there?
Yes. Thank you very much. That is the dues, the monthly dues. Monthly dues has not been scrapped off. Usually what happens is that when the levy is paid from August, we expect that we can run the House with that to December. So at the December sitting, then we finalize on the dues to be paid for the second session. So although it is monthly dues, in order to economize and then be more feasible to our MPs, although the levy is for the inauguration, we use it to run the House to the end of the year, so that from January we can start with monthly dues. So at our December sitting, the special budget committee is to recommend an amount for us to pay, and the House will debate over it and adopt an amount. And from January, the monthly dues will effect from January to August. Yeah, so we have not forgotten about it, but we just want to reduce the financial burden. So we expect that we manage the levy to run the House during the first session, and then the monthly dues runs the second session. Yes. So please, are you okay? Okay. So, honorable members, please, I want to call on, if you know you have not paid the levy, please just do what to pay. Okay, it's going to be the same number as the one that the parliamentary tribute will be paid on. You now, your conscience should tell you, please, I beg you, with all due respect, just do what to pay your levy. Okay, so now members, we move to item 10. Item 10, that is directives to committees. It's important that we tax our MPs. It's important that we tax all committees of the House. And I've been able to prepare a tax for all the committees of the House, a directive to all committees. So as you can see the projection on your screen, I'm projecting it for a reason so that you can make references. But after the sitting, the YIP contact will respectively share all the directives to all the committees on their respective WhatsApp pages for the attention. So please, it's important that you look at this. Some people were asking why they are part of two committees. Yes, you are part of a standing committee and a select committee. A standing committee of the House is a committee that basically handles the standing committees, majority of them handle internal issues, but the select committees handle external issues. They handle external issues. That's the difference. That is why you are part of at least one standing committee and one select committee. But the MPs who late are only part of a select committee. So that is the difference. But from the fourth Parliament, MPs will only be part of one committee. But the Senate will continue with the tradition of each member being part of a select committee and a standing committee. But for the Parliament, from the fourth Parliament, a member will only be part of one committee, except the leaders who will be part of multiple committees. So I'll now proceed to read the directive to all committees of the House. And please, there's a deadline for each of the roles to a committee. So the chairpersons and members, please take note and then ensure that it is being done. The ranking members as well are tasked. Please, as a ranking member, you should not always sit for the chairperson to take action. You are a ranking member for a reason. You are supposed to put the chair on their toes. In the absence of the chair, when there is no vice chair, you, the ranking member, takes the leadership of the committee. So please, if you are a ranking member, don't just sit there. You should take up leadership and then ensure that things are done if your chairs are not up to task. Okay, so the ranking member is basically a chair from the other side. Yes, you are like a shadow minister. There's a minister and then there's a shadow minister. That is how the ranking member is. So please, if you don't understand, take notes now. Take notes now. So in other terms, a chairperson and a ranking member, they basically co-chair a committee. Just that the chair is the leading figure and the ranking member is the supporting. That is why for all the tasks, we attack the chairperson and the ranking member. So I will not, to save time, I will not read up the name of the chair and the ranking member. I'll just go ahead to read the directive because it's already showing on your screen. Yes, so we'll move straight to the standing committees. So appointment committee, you are to evaluate the appointments made by the committee on selection and report at the December sitting. What this means is that evaluate the committee appointments being made. If you think that there are some flaws, you draw the House attention to it. Maybe you see that some of the committee leadership are not up to task, so there is someone in the committee who will be better at this committee. You have to make those evaluations and report at the December sitting. So appointments committee, please take note. Business committee, you already know your tax. You are basically the most vibrant committee because at every sitting we hear of you. But I direct that you prepare debate motions for all subsequent sittings of the House. By December, we want to know the motions that will be debating at all the subsequent sittings left. Because apart from this, we'll be having 6 main sittings in next year and then December sitting. We want you to prepare motions ahead for all the sittings. Yes, as time goes on, you can modify the motions, but we want you to prepare motions ahead for all the sittings that are left for this House. I so direct. Education committee. The education committee, you are to review the effect of the no terminal exams stopped by the Ministry of Education in our basic school and report to the House. You are to report to the House at the December sitting. Yes. So you are aware that when we are in school, at the end of each term, we write exams. But our brothers and sisters who are now in school, they don't write exams anymore. I don't know how they used to evaluate them to promote them. But it is a very important thing that assessment is being done. So we are asking on you to review the effect of this new policy that students no more write exams at the end of the term in our basic schools and report to the House at the December sitting. The entertainment committee, I direct that you draw an entertainment activity for the second session of the House to be adopted at the December sitting. I so direct. External Affairs Committee, I direct that you assess the possible organizations and groups that Youth Impact Movement, Youth Impact Foundation, and Youth Impact Parliament can draw an MOU with or collaborate with for a program and report to the House at the February sitting. At the February sitting. Yes, so look around and assess the groups that we can work with so that we can extend our welfare to them as well. You are basically like our Minister for Foreign Affairs. That's basically the External Affairs Committee. That is why we want you to assess groups and organizations that either the Parliament, the Foundation, or movement can draw MOU with or collaborate with for a program. Even if you have your reports ready by December, we can take it. But by February, the February sitting, we expect it to be ready. The Finance Committee. So the national budget statement will be presented on the 15th of November at Parliament of Ghana by the Minister for Finance. And we want you to analyze the budget and report on the effect of the budget statement at our December sitting. But at worst, by February, it can be ready because maybe you might need more time to do this. So it will be February. At the February sitting, we want to hear from you how that budget is going to affect us. Next year is an election year. Yes, next year is an election year, so it's a very important year. And who knows? Components of the budget. I don't want to talk about that, but we want you to review the budget and present at the February sitting the effects of the budget. So you want to come and read the budget to us. No, you are just to do your analysis and tell us your analysis at the February sitting. If it is earlier than February, no problem. Health Committee, Health and Safety Committee. And there appears to be a new public health disaster that is popping up. We don't know what it is, but we are hearing that there is a new disease popping up. Please do your analysis and report to the House. If it is a hoax, no problem, but if it is not, you educate us so that we take care of ourselves. And any other health advisor you give at the December sitting. Intelligence Committee. So there is an incident in Garu. Please analyze that incident and report to us at the December sitting. The Garu incident. Organizing Committee. Attendance of MPs have been really slow. As of today, amazingly, it's not even amazing, but I think we had around 40 MPs present. A house of 143 members, whether virtual sitting or physical sitting, is the same number of MPs that are present. We want you to look at that situation and then recommend how we can improve the attendance of MPs at sittings of the House. Please take note. Please, I hope you can hear me. Okay. So, Petitions Committee. Honorable Damosman, please take note that you'll be taking that of the Select Committee for me. I'll be dealing with an important business after I handle the Standing Committee. So when we read Select Committees, please look on your screen and then you read the directives. Petitions Committee. There are petitions on the government's inability to take charge of the flood victims. The issue coming up with the flood victims. Please look into that and report to us at the December sitting with respect to ongoing with government's inability to take charge of the situation. Privileges Committee. Quite a number of MPs will be referred to you in January. We want to hear from you in December how you are going to deal with them when we refer them to. Publicity Committee. Quite a number of our MPs have failed to patronize our own content. Please investigate and recommend to us at the December sitting how that situation can be improved. Special budget. Just the same situation about low payments of the inaugural levy. Please look at that. And also, in addition to that, you have to recommend a levy. You have to recommend the monthly dues to be paid in the second session. Sports and games. Draw a sports and games activity plan for the second session. I so direct. We'll take it to the December sitting. Standing orders. Each new parliament has its own standing orders improved. Share with us your plans on improving the standing orders for the 4th Parliament and report at the December sitting. Welfare Committee. Prepare or review the welfare of parliamentarians and parliamentary service members and report at the December sitting. Acting Second Deputy Speaker to take the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. We move on to number 17, Committee of Chieftaincy and Religion. They are to review and advise on matters related to chieftaincy, including succession disputes and the preservation of traditional values, and report at the February sitting. So, Honorable Innocent, kindly take note. We move to the Committee on Defense and National Security. They are to oversee the country's defense and security policies and also evaluate it and recommend countermeasures and report at the March sitting. Hope they take note. Um, Good Committee on Democratic Governance, chaired by Honorable Selom Komla Kofi. They are to monitor the implementation of democratic processes, including elections, and propose reforms for enhancement and report at the March sitting. So, Honorable Selom, kindly take note where you put your committee members. And Committee on Election Monitoring, chaired by Honorable Emmanuel Obin Ofe, that's MP for Lejokuku. They are to investigate and address electoral irregularities and complaints from the public and report at the February sitting. Move to Committee on Employment and Labor, headed by Honorable Julius Kofi Bansa. The committee is to advocate for workers' rights, including fair wages, labor conditions, and occupational safety standards, and report at the February sittings. Look to the Committee on Energy and Petroleum, headed by Honorable George Junior Ugbe. So they are to evaluate energy policies, including the diversification of energy sources and sustainability, and report at the February sitting. So, Honorable, please work with your members and report at the February sitting. Committee on Environmental Protection, chaired by Honorable Paul Junior Udume, MP for Ashton. They are to monitor environmental conservation and sustainability efforts, including waste management and pollution control, and report at the March sitting. Committee on Food and Agriculture. They are to review agricultural policies and strategies to enhance food security and promote sustainable farming practices, and examine financing, irrigation systems, and technological advancements for increased crop yields, and report at the March sitting. To Committee on Foreign Affairs, headed by myself. We are to oversee foreign policy implementation, assess diplomatic relations, and advise on international with the visa-free travel from South Africa and Rwanda, and report at the February sitting. Challenge when noted. Directive well taken. Committee on Gender and Children, headed by Honorable Enueta Na. They are to investigate issues of child protection, domestic violence, and gender-based violence, and recommend protective measures and report at the March sitting to the House. Committee on Human Rights, that's headed by MP and political rights, economic and social rights, and cultural rights, and report at the February sitting. Committee on Judicial Affairs, headed by Honorable Robert Fiawonu, MP for Kachi East. This committee is to assess the judicial system, including the appointment and conduct of judges and magistrates, and report at the March sitting. Honorable Jones. Okay. We move to Committee on Lands and Natural Resources, headed by the chairperson with the name of Samson Fianco, Honorable Samson Fianco. They are to evaluate land tenure systems, land use policies, and the protection of natural resources and report at the March sitting. Committee on Legislative Affairs, headed by Go Pam Pam, Honorable Degawanona. They are to review the parliamentary rules and procedures to enhance legislative efficiency and also assess the performance and conduct of parliamentarians and recommend ethical standards and reports at the March sitting. Committee on Local Government, headed by Honorable Constance, that means the youth MP for Who West. On behalf of the House, I want to say a happy birthday to Honorable Constance. Today is his birthday. So the committee is to monitor the effectiveness of local governance system, including decentralizations and local development projects, and review local government budgets, and also local government budget and financial management, ensuring transparency and accountability, and report at the March sitting. So Honorable, today is your birthday, and this is a directive from the Speaker. So take it upon yourself. Committee on Student Relations, headed by Honorable Courage Daniel Asiedu, to ask issues related to student finances, scholarships, and access to quality education and student governance. As the pros and cons. So they are to put at the February sitting. Committee on Standard and Cost of Living, headed by Honorable Enoch Edo. They are to examine the cost of living, including consumer prices, inflation rates, and affordability of basic goods and services, and report at the February sitting. This one directive I look forward for the report. Committee on Trade and Industry, headed by the MP for Ayawaso North, that to assess industrial development, entrepreneurship, and small and medium scale enterprises, and report at the March sitting. Committee on Technological Development, headed by Honorable Cecil, that to assess the country's technological advancement and innovation capabilities with solutions and report the February sitting.
Thank you very much. The acting second deputy speaker. So, honourable members, these are the directives to the committees. The leadership of the committees should take notice, and then, of course, the YIP contact will share the directives on all committee pages for your attention. Please take this serious. When you do it, it is a testament to your own productivity and work. If you don't do it, it's still your issue. As much as possible, from whatever you do, when it's good enough, it can land in Parliament of Ghana. People are watching, and they'll take a clue, and your idea or whatever you have done becomes your own testimony. So please, let's take it serious, and then work on it. Please, are there any questions on the directives? Are there any questions on the directives? Please, do you have any question on the directives? Okay. If there are no questions, then all the 35 directives being issued, I hereby so direct that all these committees are to do so and report at their appointed respective dates. Thank you. Honourable members, we move to item 11, which is the general debate on the motion. Majority Leader, please move the motion for debate.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I hereby move the motion. Sorry, the motion for the debate to begin. Thank you.
Honorable, please, you need to read out the motion before you move. You need to know the motion you are moving.
Yes. Yeah. All right, so Mr. Speaker, the debate for this evening states that reforming electoral practices to reduce the influence of money and incentives is necessary for combating corruption in Ghana, where majority stand for the motion and minority stand against the motion. I hereby move the motion for the debate.
Thank you very much. Minority Leader, secondment.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to apologize for my, let's say, for not being able to communicate on the floor frequently today. I'm currently engaged in one activity at the funeral ground. That's why. The quick one. Mr. Speaker, we are the minority feel that the motion for today, even though our electoral practices need to undergo some reforms, but without our attitudinal change, I think we are not heading anywhere. So I stand to second the motion moved by the majority leader. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, motion moved and seconded is now for the debate of the House. The majority leader will give his opening statement, which will be 5 minutes. The minority leader will give his opening statement 5 minutes, and then we can proceed. We can now proceed to now have rebuttals from honourable members. So, honourable members, motion moved and seconded is now for the debate of the House. Acting Second Deputy Speaker to take the chair. Majority Leader, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a motion that I believe should not be taken for granted. And Mr. Speaker, I want to state that monetization in our electoral processes has become a political culture whereby, in fact, if you don't have money, you might not be able to contest for any position. Now, Mr. Speaker, let's look at it in these two ways. First, let's look at it in the aspect of the recipients of this cash. When I say the recipients, I'm talking about the electorate. The electorate have now made up their mind that anybody that avails himself for a leadership position which demands for election or voting, they should or they must take something from that person. In fact, this has contributed to a lot of corruption, one. Secondly, choosing of the wrong people in office just because they have the means to be able to satisfy this electorate financially and then also with this. Mr. Speaker, as people and as citizens, if we do have conscience and we do really want good people to be in our leadership position, then as electorate, we need to get this off our mind. We need to focus on choosing the right people. We shouldn't always go into election expecting money and other gifts, whereby it has become a culture to the political leaders. So what they do is that they look for investors, so they will be able to satisfy the election because that is the only thing they need to win an election. They do not need to prove to us their capability to work at whatever position we are giving to them. All they need and all they think about is how to raise money and satisfy the electorate. Then they are aware and confident that they are going to win the election. And when they get to the office, we make a lot of noise that they are corrupt. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask, these people have invested a lot. They have shared money. Looking at the just ended primaries at the NPP side, information gathered said that one person is able to give 400 cedis per delegate, and the other is giving 300 cedis per delegate. For over 200,000 delegates. It's a figure, multiply 200,000 by 400 cedis. And look at the amount of money that has been spent. This is just something that happened at the delegate level where the superdelegate own is not even passed. So, Mr. Speaker, which business-minded person will go into office and will not expect to get all this money back? So we are actually promoting more corruption in our leaders. Why? Because we are always placing demands before we vote. We are always placing demands before we elect them. We're looking at the places they have that they can exhibit in that office. They are only expecting what they have. They are, this year, if me, I don't take 100 cities, I won't vote. And I think, as young people, we should stand and campaign this attitude, this behavior, to restructure our election system so that we can be able to elect people who work, not people who can be able to give us what we want at an instant and put us in a mess for 8 years or 4 years. Mr. Speaker, this is heartbreaking that we are taking 100 cities to suffer for 4 years. 100 cities that could not buy airtime for 1 month. We are taking that to suffer for 4 good years. It is sad. It is very sad. And I believe that if as people, as electorate, we reject these gifts, we reject these monies from these politicians, and we put it upon ourselves that we are going to vote for somebody who is capable to do the work, somebody who has exhibited competency to work, I believe they will become wise, and when they get to office, Mr. Speaker, they will do what we sent them there to do. But they will not have it in mind and slip off the job, and then in the next 4 or 3 years, they come back again, gather some money, come and give us 100 cities for us to send them back into that office again. We must, as citizens, stand against it. Reject all these things. Let us not make a mind that before I vote for somebody, I need to take money. Like I was able to observe the current election that goes on. You could hear some delegates say that if I don't receive my cash, I'm not going to vote. Mr. Speaker, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And you could also hear citizens saying that next year, if I don't receive any money, I'm not voting because I know when they get there, they are also going to pack money. Mr. Speaker, we should first of all ask ourselves that if you are the one, it's just like our SRC. When they spend little money here to ask we vote for them, they get there, they misuse the funds we raise to be able to do something for the school. They misuse all those things. Why? Because they have made an investment. They have invested into what that office, and they must get their money back with interest. Mr. Speaker, by the time they get this money back with interest, before they will think about us, it's over. And it's very sad. I don't think I should talk much about this because as people, we all know that all we need is to reject these monies and think about choosing somebody who is competent for the job. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Francis Koji, the majority leader. May we hear from the minority leader, Honorable Hubert. Please, you have 5 minutes. Honorable Hubert. I think the minority leader has disconnected. So please, anyone from the minority side, can step in for him. Anyone from the minority side. Honorable members. Honorable members, please, can you hear me? Can someone hear me?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I can hear you now.
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Oh. As I was saying, the minority leader seems he has disconnected himself. So please, anyone from the minority side can step in for him. Just contribute to the debate, the motion. Honorable members. Okay, let's hear from Honorable Faith.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would just like to talk briefly. So, Mr. Speaker of the House, based on the motion for the debate, says reforming electoral practices to reduce the influence of money and incentives for combating corruption in Ghana. Like Honorable Francis rightly said, for electoral practices to be reformed in Ghana, I think it's going to start from not just the leaders, but I think measures need to be put in place in order to educate the public accordingly. Because if you look at how the politicians operate, they mostly target those who are not really educated, and those who are, should I say, struggling in life in a sense. No offense to anyone, but those who are going through hardship. So they go to the rural areas, they go to the farmers, they go to those who are poor in quotes. Okay. They go to them, and then these people don't really have an understanding of what they are really doing. Okay. Because these are people who are just thinking of the amount of money that can actually feed their family for that space of time. They are not thinking long term, they're just thinking short term. So the politicians go to this particular group of people and just offer them something little. Because the truth is, if they are to go to, I know they sometimes go to the educated ones as well, but I'm trying to talk majority over here. The majority of people they go and influence with money to vote for them are usually from the should I say the poor side, those who are actually having it really bad in life. Okay, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I'm just trying to state some facts. Those are the people they usually go to, because the point is, if they go to those who educated in a sense, they know if they're actually going to, for you to bribe someone of that caliber, you actually need more money to do so. And you actually need to do more explanation and all that. So they actually go to those who are not really educated. And in our side of the world, like in Ghana to say, those who are not educated or those who are more likely to be influenced by a small amount of money are more than those who are educated and will not sell their, like, will not willingly sell their votes and all that. So if measures are put in place and they actually start from the electoral commission goes to educate these people on why their vote really matters to to vote for someone or not sell your vote, if they actually understand the repercussions of their behaviors, I think it's going to reduce um, it's going to reduce the whole corruption thing. And another thing too is we keep saying like we are the future of the country tomorrow. But here lies the case, if you take a look at most of the SRC boards across the country, you can see like the level of corruption is bad. It's bad. We don't vote for people based on their qualifications. We rather vote for them because the person is, let's say, is my friend or in my my department, or you're from the same tribe. And if it starts now, we can see where we are going to get ourselves in the next maybe 5 to 10 years. And the truth is, we are not going to do any better than the current presidents, the current politicians. If anything, we are going to be worse than them. So to be able to cause or have an effective change in society, we should be able to start now to say no to corruption. Even as the Electoral Commission tries to put measures in place, educate the illiterate on the repercussions of their behaviors and all that, we as young people who claim to be the leaders of tomorrow should be the ones standing for the right thing. Because truth is, if just now as in our small portfolios or positions that we are holding, if just now we are entertaining small bouts of corruption um, and all this, if we are doing this just at a small level, when we get that place, it will be worse. So I think we have to start by changing our mindset as young people and looking at this thing long term. How do you want the system to be, not just for yourself, but for the generations to come? And then push forward to do the right thing. because I think it all has to do with a matter of morality. If you allow the training you've been given to actually be ingrained into you, then I think you should actually stand on your moral like discipline, because we all know what is good and what is bad. Okay, but here lies the case: we are willingly accepting this bribes and, okay, as I call it, incentives. We are willingly accepting incentives while you know the person you are taking that incentive from doesn't have any good plan in place to help better the country. Because most of those people who take incentives from these politicians and all that, they don't even listen to what the other person is bringing on board. It's just, how much do you have to give me? And that's not how it's supposed to be. I'm not saying taking bribe or incentive is good, but I'm trying to say that a lot of times they don't even sit down to listen. Okay, you want to get ahead. You want to, because another thing, for someone to even try to win his way or to the top, that is a clear sign that that person is not even qualified in the first place and doesn't have proper moral standards. And that person will be willing to compromise anything to make it. So we need to educate ourselves and educate the general public of, because look at where Ghana has gotten to. Look at how bad the situation is. Now it will shock me that the same people who are complaining that, oh, Ghana is bad, Ghana is tough, might have been, Mark my word, I said might have been the same people who probably at some point in time took something. Now, I'm sure if they're sitting down now, they realize that the amount of money or the amount of pain they've had to go through in the past couple of years is not worth the amount of money that they received at that time. So I think the Electoral Commission has to educate these people, not just these people, but everyone in the period before the time of election. There should be adverts. They should go around, going to schools, educating the students on this whole thing. But I don't think anything of that sort is really going on like effectively. Why? Because probably those at the top there in the electoral board have probably also been compromised. So I think we all have to go back to the values and moral standards that were instilled in us by our authors and pick up from there if we really want the country to go forward. And then the young people, as we call ourselves the future of the country, we should do the right thing. We should do the right thing. If you start now to compromise your moral values in just a little thing, look, you can sit in your little corner and condemn the politicians and all that. But the truth is, if you are doing it in your little corner in small bits and small city, when you get there, you do it in millions. So, Mr. Speaker in the House, what I'm trying to say is measures should be put in place. The Electoral Commission should, I believe they should educate the general public, more especially those at the disadvantaged and the illiterate and those who are having it quite hard in life. They should educate these people on the repercussions, like what their behaviors will actually bring about. And the youth should also be trained not to compromise their moral values for anything. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable, for the great contribution. Honorable members, the House is open for discussion, for debate. So anyone can contribute. You just raise your hand, then you'll be called, then you'll contribute. Honorable members. Honorable members, you can contribute. Okay, let's hear from Honorable Bright. Honorable Bright, you may proceed.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Am I audible? In case I'm audible, kindly unmute and let me know before I
Yeah,
progress.
you're audible. You're audible. You may proceed.
Okay, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm Right Goku, MP for Tema West, and also the chairperson for the External Affairs Committee. Honorable Speaker, the motion at hand today is quite an interesting one, since it's a challenge that exists in status quo, and this has bothered the minds of many discerning and loving citizens of this country for far too long. Now, we are trying to identify a key problem in the said motion, Honorable Speaker. And I think the best thing that, or the best argument to get in the said motion has to do with communication barriers that exist with our electoral processes. And this relates to illiteracy on the parts of Ghanaians. Honorable Speaker, I'd like to state this clearly. Successive governments are well aware of the negligence and ignorance on the part of most Ghanaians. Hence, the NCA receives less funding in their activities. Honorable Speaker, I tell you for a fact, if we have a well-functioning NCA, there are so many reforms in this electoral process that will be realized, and money being used as incentives by politicians will be a thing of the past. The National Communications Authority plays a key role in advising and educating most people in these rural communities on how best to go about their electoral processes. Honorable Speaker, there is a key problem that we are failing to realize in today's motion that has been presented to us, and it's the fact that each electoral process and campaign involves money. But then, the reason why ours in this country is tending to become problematic is that these monies are now influencing the choice of the electorates. I tell you the fact, quick one. The Americans, the better parts of Europe, countries, the donors, the super global powers, they both have key companies sponsoring their campaigns. But then the key thing that you get in those sponsorship and funding is that it doesn't influence the decision of the electorates. Electorates always weigh. I think the best mechanism I will argue in today's motion, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that the NCA needs a lot of funding. That's the best reform we can give to our electoral process. The NCA needs to work hand in hand with the electoral commissioners in order to achieve this goal or this aim. I see no reason why Ghanaians should be going to check their names on voters register, should be going to see how well or how far they qualify or how eligible they are to vote, how they know little to nothing about the activities they are going to do. Mr. Speaker, let me surprise you with a key problem that we are facing with these incentives of money influencing our electoral processes or decisions. Politicians have realized the daftness of most Ghanaians. Hence, they even buy the votes of electors with materials as penny, as a cap price, which is very surprising and very problematic. The key solution.
Honorable member, not to cut you short, please, you keep referring to NCA.
Into this mounted.
Honorable member, you keep referring to NCA.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. But I want to bring to your correction that NCA is not in charge of giving education to citizenry. It's rather the
Yeah, what?
NCCE. I hope the house can hear me.
Hello, I can't hear you all.
Yeah, I was saying you keep referring to NCA, but the right organization you should refer to should be the NCCE. That's the National Commission for Civic Education. I was just bringing it to your attention.
Yeah, sorry. NCCE. Thank you, right, Honorable Speaker. That's why you are the Honorable Speaker. Education, National Commission for Civic Education. That's very true. That's why you are the right Honorable Speaker, correcting us on the right things to do. But that's the body that I'm trying to create, pinpoint in today's argument or motion at hand. They need to be fully funded to give the needed educational populace. That's my whole argument on how best we can reform our electoral process and do away with the incentives. We will always have the masses coming out to vote. But then, if the politicians are able to weaponize the poverty they create against the individuals, then it tends to be very problematic. We will always be back to square one, arguing this whole money being used as incentives till the general populace are enlightened on the need to vote wisely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Bright, for the contribution. I want the next honorable member to contribute. So just raise your hand, I'll call you, and you contribute. Honorable Bright, I think your hand is still up. So please, you may lower it now for the next honorable member. Honorable members, or I should start calling names. Honorable John, anyone can share anything with us. Or it seems I'm not audible. Honorable members, am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you. Please call names. Call names. The number of people online are even less. So we can even adjourn soon.
Honorable Janet. Honorable Janet. If there are no longer submission or contribution, the speaker, I think you should take your chair for now.
Okay. Thank you very much, Acting Second Deputy Speaker. Having taken the chair, I think even you have some inputs to take on them. If you do have, you can make post as well before I put question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Everything has been said already by all the honorable members. that were on the floor. It is true. As Honorable Bryce said, the NCCE needs to be fully funded so that they can reach everybody in Ghana or any place in Ghana to educate people. And because I think lack of education is the cause of all this. So educate our people that it's better not to take 100 cedis and suffer for 4 years. So with this, Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you very much. Okay. So, honorable members, at this point in time, if there are no further submissions, on the motion, I'll proceed to put the question on the motion. And the motion reads that reforming electoral practices, this House recommends that there should be reform from electoral practices to reduce the influence of money and incentives as a necessity to combat corruption in Ghana. But in the absence of any further comments or contributions on the motion, I hereby put the question that the Republic of Ghana, the government of Ghana, the Electoral Commission, and all other stakeholders, NIA, NCE, should commence and initiate electoral reforms to reduce the influence of money and incentives in combating corruption during our elections. All members in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Not in favor of the motion say nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it. The motion carries. Therefore, this Honorable House hereby adopts the motion that electoral reforms for our electoral practices is a necessity to reduce the influence of money and incentives during our electoral process so as to combat corruption. Honourable members, we'll proceed to the last item for the day, adjournment. Honourable members, motion for adjournment. Motion for adjournment. Can someone move the motion that this House do adjourn? Yes, Honourable Adam Osman.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm Adamu Usman, MP for Ashaiman constituency. I rise to move for the adjournment of this sitting to the 5th parliamentary sitting on a later date. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Seconder. A seconder to the motion. Honorable Bright, kindly second the motion. Okay. Honorable George Ogbe, please second the motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Minister Speaker. I, George Junior Ogbe, second.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, motion moved and seconded. Motion moved and seconded. I now put the question to the House that this Honorable House now do adjourn to a later date. All in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Not in favor of the motion. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Therefore, this honorable house do now stand adjourned to a later date. I thank you.